Hi, my name's Tina Parks and I'm from the British Academy of Floral Art, and I'm going to show you how to do some simple designs with daffodils. So I'm going to do 3 simple designs. I'm going to start with this one on this video, and then I'm going to do 2 separate little individual videos with a different design in each video, taking the idea on so that we inspire you with 1 bunch of daffodils or 2 bunches of daffodils depending on what you've got. So these are really beautiful. I love these at this time of year. They really put a smile on your face. And I think the daffodils are really versatile, but there are a couple of little characteristics about daffodils that are specific to them. Firstly, they don't play well with others. And what I mean by that is that they seclude a sap from the stem when you cut it. So they're a hollow stem, but they're also a sappy stem. And if we cut that and put that straight into a vase with other flowers, say, for example, tulips, what it will do is the sap will turn the water and the flowers will go very, very quickly. There are a couple of things you can do. If you cut the flower, the daffodil, put it into its own bucket of water overnight, 24 hours or 12 hours potentially, and then take it out and put it into your vase with the other flower that you want to mix it with. You can get it to work with the other flowers, but it will shorten the life. So even though it will look good for 4 or 5 days, after that you'll notice that the other flowers in the vase will have a reduced life from what you would normally expect. So generally it's best worth, I think, to play with these on their own. And they look so beautiful. I think they look gorgeous. I don't think you need to mix them with anything. So a little bit of history about the daffodil. So it comes from Southwest Europe originally, and it's a beautiful spring flower. So it's one of the first ones we see in the garden, and it really cheers us up. If we're cutting this from the garden, what we want to do is we want to cut it blind, which means we can cut it completely like this. So you can see it has this sheath over the top which protects the bud so it doesn't get damaged while it's growing, especially if you think about the conditions it has to grow in this country. It might have a frost or it might be cold. And what we're looking for is a tiny, tiny little blush of colour on the very, very end of that. It's a tiny, tiny touch of yellow. And we know that that one's going to open then. If you buy them, I've got some of these from a classic local supermarket. If you buy these from the supermarket, you come in little bunches like this. This, I think, probably about 15 in here, maybe even 20 in this bunch. This is £1, so it's a really good flower, value flower. And they should last between 6 and 12 days, depending on how tight they are. So if they're really tight like this, you should get perhaps 9, 10, 11 days, depending on how warm your sitting room is. If you buy them like this, you'll probably get about 5 days, 4 or 5 days if they're full. So you want to buy them nice and tight. This sort of mixed bunch is perfect. It's got a lot of blind ones, and it's got some where the sheath has already come back over the, see, that drops away, it tears away, and it becomes papery. And then once that drops away completely, that flower then is free to open. It will just literally start opening. And if we just let it do it on its own, it'll probably just take a couple of hours, and then you can see it starts to open completely. So that little papery sheath on the side is perfectly natural. That's part of its defense mechanism to keep it looking beautiful before it actually opens, to protect the flower. So about 1,300 different varieties of daffodils available. So they belong to the Narcissi family. We call them daffs, but they belong to the Latin name Narcissi. And they belong to the Amarylliaceae family. So they're actually related to the Amaryllis. So this one's a really good one. It's in the garden now. You can cut it straight away from the garden. So literally as low as you can, straight cut, and put it straight into a bucket if you can while you're collecting them. One thing about the daffodil that's quite interesting is they only like shallow water. So don't put them in too deep a water because of their delicate nature of the stem. If it's too deep a water, the water will turn really, really quickly. The bacteria starts to develop and the stem is damaged too quickly. So if you can, keep the water shallow, maybe sort of about 1.5 inches, sort of about 3 centimetres. That's probably perfect for them. They don't need too much, just top it up ever so often. So this little design is a really simple one. I've just got some beautiful bits of birch, which are loose, hanging, this is fallen branches I've used. and I'm just going to put them into my container. I'm just going to roll them around on the inside. So this is a perfect design to go and pick these bits and pieces up while you're having a walk, beautiful sunny day today, and just gather them into a container. I'm just going to sort of scrunch them up a little bit. So this is quite nice because it's quite soft, so you can break it or you can cut it. Just going to twist a whole load of those in. And it's slightly flexible still, so it's really great for this sort of work. So we can create a nice little wedge in there. And what that's going to do is going to give us a place where we can push our stalks in. So this is like, instead of using Oasis, it helps to hold the flower in place, and it means if you've got a big vase, you don't need so many flowers in it. So we could get away with splitting this bunch of daffodils perhaps up into several different designs. So you could put a few in your kitchen table perhaps, and maybe a couple in your living room, maybe something in the bathroom. I always think flowers in the bathroom feels very exotic and sort of luxurious. So in this day and age when we need a little bit of something to be cheerful with, then I think a few flowers in the bathroom would look quite sweet. So I've also found on this lovely walk these beautiful lichen covered branches, which are beautiful because they pick up that yellow tone, so they work really, really well with the daffodils. But I think they're a little bit solid for this. I love this dark colour that this it's silver birch, so it's got this amazing dark. It's got a few little catkins on there as well, which should add interest, but it's got this amazing dark branch. So I'm just literally going to put, probably, maybe we won't even need that many, I think perhaps just a few. Now the beauty of organising them when they're still in their bud is they won't look anything yet, but they will open up and we will create beautiful form, and it will be lovely. It was so exciting to come down every morning and see how much further they've opened. I'm just going to put a few upright. Let's drop a little one of this a little bit further down into the vase. So what we want to do is make sure that all the stems go down to the bottom so that they can drink well. So let's put the counterbalance one of that one in as well. Let's have him on this side. Just wiggle them down till they can get down to the base. It's not going to give him enough space. Let's go into the middle. Drop him down. And it is amazing, they do find their own way of opening, even in a small space. Let's drop a few more down. So now it's just a matter of just jigging them around. I'm just twisting him just to find his little root down. I think probably we won't need many more than that. One on this side. A little twist helps them just drop down into the base there. Sit there. Maybe one more just to counterbalance on this side. Swiggling down so that he finds his way down to the bottom. And then this would need about 3 centimetres of water in the bottom. And just keep an eye on it. So they don't drink a huge amount, but they just need to be topped up ever so often. And then maybe just a couple of little sprigs of this coming out. This doesn't need to go into the water because this is dried effectively. So just could add a few of these little sprigs at the top just to break out of the top of the vase. Just lift up through, and that's it, we're pretty much done. So really, really simple little design, nice and easy, nice and quick. And we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the daffodils. So we've still got a whole good chunk of the bunch left for another design. So put a few of those in. I love that colour combination. I love that really dark tone with that light, that lovely vibrant yellow. It makes the yellow almost even more yellowy and more vibrant. It's really pretty. So just having a few bits sticking up above. Just using up a few of these little pieces. and just breaking out of the vase a little bit. I just want to lift out of the vase a little bit, but not too much. Take that one because it's got a little catkin on it. Okay, so I think that's pretty much done. So that's the end of our first design, and I'm just going to set up for the next one, and I'm going to film the next design, the development of this one. Thank you very much. See you in a bit.